Dante, Divine Comedy, Inferno, Canto 24. In that part of the youthful year wherein the sun his locks beneath Aquarius tempers, and now the nights draw near to half the day, what time the hoarfrost copies on the ground the outward semblance of her sister white, but little lasts the temper of her pen. The husbandman, whose forage faileth him, rises and looks, and seeth the champagne, all gleaming white, whereat he beats his flank, returns indoors, and up and down laments, like a poor wretch who knows not what to do. Then he returns and hope revives again, seeing the world has changed its countenance in little time, and takes his shepherd's crook, and forth the little lambs to pasture drives. Thus did the master fill me with alarm, when I beheld his forehead so disturbed, and to the almond tamest soon the plaster. For as we came unto the ruined bridge, the leader turned to me with that sweet look which at the mountain's foot I first beheld. His arms he opened, after some advisement within himself elected, looking first well at the ruin, and laid hold of me. And even as he who acts and meditates, for it seems that he provides beforehand, so upward lifting me towards the summit of a huge rock, he scanned another crag, saying, "To that one grapple afterwards, but try first if 'tis such that it will hold thee." This was no way for one clothed with a cloak, for hardly he light, and I pushed upward, were able to ascend from jag to jag. And had it not been that upon that precinct shorter was the ascent than on the other, I know not, but I had been dead beat. But because Malbolge towards the mouth of the profoundest well is all inclining, the structure of each valley doth import that one bank rises and the other sinks. Still we arrived at length upon the point wherefrom the last stone breaks itself asunder. The breath was from my lungs so milked away when I was up that I could go no farther. Nay, I sat down upon my first arrival. Now it behoves thee thus to put off sloth, my master said, for sitting upon down or under quilt one cometh not to fame, withouten which whoso his life consumes, such vestige leveth of himself on earth, as smoke in air or in the water foam. And therefore raise thee up, overcome the anguish with spirit that o'ercometh every battle, if with its heavy body it sink not. A longer stairway it behoves thee mount. 'Tis not enough from these to have departed. Let it avail thee, if thou understand me. Then I uprose, showing myself provided better with breath than I did feel myself, and said, "Go on, for I am strong and bold." Upward we took our way along the crag, which jagged was, and narrow, and difficult, and more precipitous far than that before. Speaking I went, not to appear exhausted, whereat a voice from the next smoke came forth, not well adapted to articulate words. I know not what it said, though o'er the back I now was of the arch that passes there. But he seemed moved to anger who was speaking. I was bent downward, but my living eyes could not attain the bottom for the dark. Wherefore, master, see that thou arrive at the next round, and let us descend the wall. For as from hence I hear and understand not, so I look down and nothing I distinguish. Other response, he said, I make thee not, except to doing. For the modest asking ought to be followed by the deed in silence. We from the bridge descended at its head, where it connects itself with the 8th bank, and then was manifest to me the Bolgia. And I beheld therein the terrible throng of serpents, and of such a monstrous kind, that the remembrance still congeals my blood. Let Libya boast no longer with her sand. For if Sheladri, Jaculi, and Pharia, she breeds, with Century and with Amphispina, neither so many plagues nor so malignant, ere showed she with all Ethiopia, nor with whatever on the Red Sea is. Among this cruel and most dismal throng people were running naked and affrighted, without the hope of hole or heliotrope. They had their hands with serpents bound behind them. These riveted upon their reins the tail and head, and were in front of them entwined. And lo, at one who was upon our side, there darted forth a serpent, which transfixed him, there where the neck is knotted to the shoulders. Nor so quickly ere, nor I was written, as he took fire and burned. And ashes wholly behoved it that in falling he became. And when he on the ground was thus destroyed, the ashes drew together, and of themselves into himself they instantly returned. Even thus by the great sages 'tis confessed, the phoenix dies and then is born again, when it approaches its 500th year. On herb or grain it feeds not in its life, but only on tears of incense and amomum, and nard and myrrh are its last winding sheet. And as he is who falls, and knows not how, by force of demons who to earth down drag him, or other operation that binds man, when he arises and around him looks, wholly bewildered by the mighty anguish which he has suffered, and in looking sighs. Such was that sinner after he had risen. Justice of God. Oh, how severe it is! That blows like these in vengeance poureth down. The guide thereafter asked him who he was. Whence he replied, I reign from Tuscany, a short time since into this cruel gorge. A bestial life, and not a human, pleased me, even as the mule I was. I'm Vanifucci beast, and Pistoia was my worthy den. And I unto the guide, tell him to stir not, and ask what crime has thrust him here below. For once a man of blood and wrath I saw him. And the sinner, who had heard, dissembled not, but unto me directed mind and face, and with a melancholy shame was painted. Then said, It pains me more that thou hast caught me amid this misery where thou sest me, than when I from the other life was taken. What thou demandest, I cannot deny. So low am I put down because I robbed the sacristy of the fair ornaments, and falsely once 'twas laid upon another. But that thou mayst not such a sight enjoy, if thou shalt e'er be out of the dark places, thine ears to my announcement open here. Pistoia first of Neri groweth meager. Then Florence doth renew her men and manners. Mars draws a vapor up from Val di Magra, which is with turbid clouds enveloped round, and with impetuous and bitter tempest over Campo Piccan shall be the battle, when it shall suddenly rend the mist asunder, so that each Bianco shall thereby be smitten. And this I've said that it may give thee pain,